your online community for positive change. Heaven's Wave Network.
Welcome to Cosmic Kick with your host, Adrian Wentworth. Get ready to have your illusions broken and your consciousness expanded. Now, here's Adrian to give you that cosmic kick.
Greetings, all of you sincere seekers of light and truth. This is Adrian Wentworth, and I want to talk to you today about awakening to your soul's purpose. Now, we have many, many different purposes that our soul came in to fulfill, which means before you even took this birth, this particular incarnation, you sat down with your guides and with your karmic board. In other words, there's a group of governing beings who've been watching over the spiritual development of your soul since the very beginning. And you sit down with them and your guides, and you find out, all right, what do I need to learn yet? What do I need to experience? What do I need to fulfill so I can continue to grow and become of greater service to the One, to the source of all? And believe it or not, at the very conception of the soul, you have within you certain original God codes that were placed within you at the time of your creation. So every soul has a higher purpose. Every soul does. And when I say higher purpose, this is what I'm referring to, the purpose of the soul at the time of its creation. Now, when you sit down with your governing board and with your guides, they often will lay out for you kind of like a game plan for your life, saying, you know, in this particular lifetime, you lost your power to this person, or you were unable to finish an experience that you really needed for your own spiritual growth. And so it would be very helpful if you would draw these particular people back into your life. Ooh, this one really is still holding a lot of your power. You need to get that energy back. Or you need to have an experience to see if you can hold yourself up now. Or, you know, you also have unfulfilled desires. You still have a desire to be with this one person and live happily ever after, even though that may not happen. You have that desire, and you need to have the opportunity to fulfill that experience. All of this comes into play before you ever come into a birth, into physical incarnation. You often hear that, oh, you've chosen your parents. Well, it's just not you choosing your parents. It's definitely contracts that are made between you and your parents, you and your future children that you're going to have. I mean, oftentimes you have strong desires to bring certain beings back into the world so you can be together. All of this is taken into account before you come in. And oftentimes also there are almost like veils that are put in place within your consciousness to keep you from knowing exactly what you committed to doing, so you will fully engage in the experiences that come before you. You know, so often there are very evolved spiritual beings who are aware of their karmic contracts, and they're aware of the dangers of getting involved in certain situations. And so they just kind of sit there on their high perch and look down and say, we're really not going to play this lifetime. And it's important to play in the game of your own life and to finish your karmic contracts to fulfill the desires that are left within you that are still pulling on you, so you can free up your energy and your soul to awaken to its higher purpose. Now, I do something that I call soul readings, karma clearing, and healing, because I'm a healer. I cannot do anything without healing. When I speak, I have to bring through healing frequencies to help those who are listening, to help them wake up, and to help them move their blocks out of the way. It's just what I do. And again, my soul has experienced being a healer for many, many incarnations. So, of course, it's going to awaken to that calling again. But at first, looking back over my own journey and my own journey of awakening, first there were certain things that I had to get past. I had to bring in really some powerful players into my life and realize that, oh my gosh, I have no power around these people. These particular people, they manipulate me, and I allow it. And so this is important. Before you take on a spiritual mission or purpose, that you have realized and experienced your own personal power. So personal power and fulfilling your soul's purpose go hand in hand. And so one of the first things that has to happen is you have to have experiences, even if it's, I came in with an abusive parent, let's say. And, as a child, that's pretty difficult. And yet, through the journey of healing and awakening, power is gotten back through the experience of whatever you had going on. Maybe it was abuse. Maybe it was you being able to manipulate your parents. And I say we bring back these karmic contracts, and sometimes it's our own children who know how to manipulate us very well. And I always laugh when parents realize when their children are quite small, they say, you know what, I think I need to cut cords with my children. And I'm saying, oh yes. Not only does that save them from feeling all of your adult worries and all of your set ways of thinking what is right for them, but it also helps you from being manipulated by them. And oftentimes, you brought them in because there was unfulfillment. And now perhaps you feel you have to just bend over backwards to give them everything they want. And that isn't even healthy for them, but that's how you feel. With my own children, I used to travel quite a bit, and I still do travel, but now they're older and they understand this. But when they were younger, they would make me feel so guilty every time I left that I would feel that I'd have to bring them back. Every time I traveled, I'd have to bring them back presents, each and every one, to make up for it. Like, here. Now, see, I'm sorry I was gone. And what I realized is, wow, they know how to really get what they want from me. And after I would separate myself from them by releasing any cordings we had, releasing guilty parts that I had about I should be home with them and not out trying to help other people. And then what I did is I sat down clearly with them and I said, my duty comes first to God. And then I take care of all lesser duties. So as much as I love each and every one of you, my duty to God comes first, and it is my responsibility to make sure that you are always loved and always taken care of. And I will always provide those people to be around you when I can't be there. And you know what? As soon as I was solid with my truth, they got it, and they quit pulling on me and making me feel so guilty, and I got to quit buying them presents every time I walked out the door. So you can see how these contracts are there. And I bring this up also because oftentimes We are so torn by our attachments, by our commitments to what we have going on in our earthly lives, that we do not listen to the urgings of our soul. We are so concerned over how is this going to affect all others around me if I start to create changes. And you know, from an early age, we are taught to do whatever we have to do to fit in. Well, you can about imagine, here I am a healer and have been in the healing profession for over 25 years now. And, you know, here my kids are in regular schools, and I have to try to fit into the school. You know, what does your mom do? Oh, my mom's a healer. You know, it's like, what's that? And they're like, oh, I gave my teacher your website. And I went, oh, God, you didn't do that, did you? What are they going to think? What are they going to think of you, worrying about it if they see what I'm really about? This is the things that I've had to go through along with coming into my own power and getting comfortable with this is who I am. And my truth is my truth. And because of that, it has power. I say over and over, once you have power, you can empower. You can empower tools for others. You can empower, like I said, we can empower our food. Everything can be empowered, which means you are in your power. Very important. So for the first part of your earthly incarnation, first of all, you have to wake up out of the illusion that you've been placed into just because you came to Earth and the illusion is so strong. You may have came in with, I'm going to totally remember why I've come and what I need to do, and yes, I'm going to quickly try to get through my karmic contracts and commitments, and then I'm going to get on with it. And yet you find out that, not that easy. I'll be back after these messages.
The new home for visionary positive change. Seventh Wave Network.
Are you feeling stuck? Krista Resources has the transformational tools to help you overcome all the obstacles that are blocking you from making positive changes in your relationships, career, health, and spiritual growth. Adrian Wentworth, founder of Krista Resources, brings you the missing keys through the Krista Healing Method and Krista Energy Attunements. These spiritual tools will clear and realign your energy system, remove all influences that are holding you powerless, build permanent protection against outside negative forces, activate your gifts and abilities, and get you in touch with your soul's purpose. Krista Resources, providing support for your personal growth and spiritual journey, helping you stay strong, balanced, and empowered through the challenges of these changing times. For more information on the products and services developed by Adrian Wentworth, visit her website at www.KristaResources.com or call 719-487-8095. The website again is www.KristaResources.com, or you can call 719-487-8095.
Do you ever feel that you would love to have your very own all-knowing guide on tap 24/7? Well, you can. It's called your intuition. Learn how to trust your inner voice. Come and explore with Natasha Rosewood the power of your intuition and how you can use it now to bring more success and joy to your world. Join Natasha on her radio show, I Think I'm Psychic. And you can be too. Every Tuesday live at 3 p.m. Pacific Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on the Seventh Wave Network. Anything is possible.
Imagine there's no heaven.
Imagine there's no mortgage. It's easy if you try. That's not just a slogan, it's a choice you have right now. In these uncertain economic times, Sherry Shane of Shane Enterprises can empower you to eliminate or reduce your mortgage. Imagine how much money you'll save for your home, your family, for you. Shane Enterprises is a mortgage reduction and debt elimination company. Start imagining the possibilities today by calling Sherry Shane of Shane Enterprises at 719-210-3608. That's 719-210-3608. Imagine there is no mortgage. It's easy if you try.
Awakened Media for a transforming world. Seventh Wave Network.
You're listening to Cosmic Kick with Adrian Wentworth. Do you need help getting unstuck? Email Adrian your questions at CreasterResources@Comcast.net. That's CreasterResources@Comcast.net. Now back to Cosmic Kick with Adrian Wentworth.
Welcome back. I'm speaking to you about the importance of personal power in awakening and fulfilling your soul's purpose. Because every step of your journey, you will be tested to see, are you able now to take on more? And as I was speaking to you, we have these veils in our consciousness that are put there to help us stay with certain sets of experiences until we've learned everything that we need. And then you start to push against that veil. And as you push against that veil, you start to awaken to more of who you are. And that awakening process is not necessarily pleasant. Oftentimes, the signs of an awakening soul are restlessness and agitation, sleeplessness, disenchantment with your life and the things that used to give you pleasure, boredom with your daily routine or what used to excite you, mild depression, and also a growing desire to help others and the earth. And so you're going to have many levels of awakening throughout your soul's journey, but it happens as you finish and complete different karmic cycles, one after the other. Now, in order to help you continue to move forward, it's very important to be doing something every day to connect with your high self and spirit so you can receive the necessary energies that will help you awaken and keep pushing on you to finish. And this is something that, again, is not very comfortable, but is so important. That means, like, every day spending a few minutes with meditation and connected meditation where you truly are surrendering to high self, to soul, letting go. And what you're surrendering? Ego. That small little ego that says, oh, this is what I need, this is what I want, this is how I do my life, and is all closed up with certain preconceived ideas on how your life should look. And as you keep connecting and start to bring in healing and spiritual frequencies that are now available to us, it will start to loosen up these tight holds within you. And as these tight holds within your consciousness, within your emotional body, within the mental body, as they start to loosen, it's not very comfortable at all. But it's important to allow it. It's like becoming unglued in a sense, so you can activate and recreate. Now, a mistake that I see many spiritual seekers make is they're aware, they start to get guidance from their spirit guides or from their high self even, and their high self or spirit guides are urging them to take certain action steps. And sometimes they're like, leave your husband, leave your job, this is what you're meant to do, go out there and do it. And all of that is wonderful, but it should be taken as goals and things that you need to explore and sit with until it feels like truth for you. Because I see this a lot where people go out and they make changes before they have the personal power to create the new that is needed. And so, this is something to just be aware of, that whenever you get information, and it can be information that's coming from your guides or it's coming from your own intuition as your own soul starts to awaken and says, I need something different. You are so stuck. And your guides start to work with the soul and say, well, we're going to help you create some new experiences here so you can, get unblocked, so you can get what you need and start moving forward. And this can be really hard when you have some preconceived ideas or attachments about how things work. And that's why I always say, start with small, personal challenges that you can accomplish. And when you see you've accomplished that and you've gotten a little bit more personal power, then take another step forward. But this slash and trash, I call it, technique of just, slashing everything out and, trashing your whole life and thinking that you're just going to be able to recreate it, that is not a true pathway to success. And again, it comes down to no matter what you're told from an outside source, because oftentimes, people run to psychics for their readings, and this is all fine because information is very helpful. But I always say that information is useful when it confirms something that you already feel inside, and oftentimes you just need a confirmation like, oh, okay, if I hear it from 2-3 other sources and I feel it inside, that gives me more confidence to start working on that change. Because it's very difficult. You have to feel it as truth. And a story that I'll share with you, that when I look back over my own coming into my power, and again, it is a journey that continues. Personal power in alignment with soul's purpose and high self as the guiding force. And I think about that. I think about how when I first had the realizations that I wanted to teach yoga and meditation, how I felt like this big burden was lifted off of my shoulders, like at last I know who I am and I know what I want to do. And I remember meeting Swami Rama of the Himalayas for the first time, who my yoga teacher was connected with, and she took me out to Honesdale, where he had a center as well as his institutes in India. And she said, you need to go and tell the master that you want to be a yoga teacher and he will help you. And I laugh when I think of myself because I was so nervous, just like, oh, there's this great master, and here I am, this, just young little girl, early 20s, and, oh, what's he going to think? And I had my little offering of almonds to bring to him, and so I, tiptoed in like a timid mouse, and I told him that I wanted to teach yoga, and he said, I will pray for you. And I'm like, oh, okay, good. And it was almost like the Wizard of Oz, when Dorothy went before the Oz, and she was just all so afraid and tripping all over herself, and here was the great Oz. And, and this is all he says, I'll pray for you. And I just stumbled out of the room so grateful to have that experience over with. And I threw myself into my studies with yoga and meditation and started to teach yoga. But after a while, something else was awakening in my soul. And all of a sudden, again, I went quickly through massage and different body therapies because there was something else pushing on me. Well, what else? What else do we need to be healthy and whole? And so I was studying all different kinds of therapies, which then led me to energy work, where I'm going, so why do we get sick to start with? and I became fascinated with the world of healing. Now, also at this time, I was being really pulled to India, strong connections to India in past lives, and it was like Mother India was calling me home, and I had to answer. I did whatever I could at the time to get the money to go. It was incredible when you have a strong desire, but I knew this desire needed to be fulfilled. I knew I needed to go. And so I went, and I also went to see Swami Rama again over in India, up in his ashram. And this time, I'm all excited to see him, and I tell him, he asks me, how are you? And I tell him very excitedly, I'm studying healing, and I'm teaching yoga, but I'm studying healing, and I'm very excited about this. And he says, oh, no. No. Healing is not for you. You are just to be a yoga teacher. And I looked at him, and I didn't know what to do. I was overwhelmed. Here's the person who I revered and respected, and he's telling me that what I'm feeling inside is incorrect. Now I had a problem. And I walked into the Ganges amongst the snakes, and I cried and I cried and I cried. How could that be? How could I feel such strong urgings and be told by the spiritual master that was not my calling? Well, I went home, and I had to follow my calling. I had to do it. And because of that, I pretty much severed my connections with, this particular master at the time, and I threw myself into studying healing. I had to do it, which was my first test of, are you in your personal power, that you know what your truth is, and you will move through it and for it, even though all of your history was pulling you back. Now, here's the interesting thing, and here's, once you get really connected with your guidance, it is always there to help you. And I'll continue my story after these messages.
Taking you to the threshold of a dream and beyond. Seventh Wave Network.
Are you feeling stuck? Krista Resources has the transformational tools to help you overcome all the obstacles that are blocking you from making positive changes in your relationships, career, health, and spiritual growth. Adrian Wentworth, founder of Krista Resources, brings you the missing keys through the Krista Healing Method and Krista Energy Attunements. These spiritual tools will clear and realign your energy system, remove all influences that are holding you powerless, build permanent protection against outside negative forces, activate your gifts and abilities, and get you in touch with your soul's purpose. Krista Resources, providing support for your personal growth and spiritual journey, helping you stay strong, balanced, and empowered through the challenges of these changing times. For more information on the products and services developed by Adrian Wentworth, visit her website at www.KristaResources.com or call 719-487-8095. The website again is www.KristaResources.com, or you can call 719-487-8095. The power of positive change lies within your own imagination. Every weekend on the Seventh Wave Network, there's a show that is for anyone who believes in the power of positive change. This show will present concepts, practical exercises, and ideas to affect your ability to more effectively use your creativity, inspiration, and imagination. The program is the Simone Zone 1. Your host is John C. Mejia. Listen for the Simone Zone 1 every Saturday at noon Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time on the Seventh Wave Network.
Imagine there's no heaven.
Imagine there's no mortgage. It's easy if you try. That's not just a slogan, it's a choice you have right now. In these uncertain economic times, Sherry Shane of Shane Enterprises can empower you to eliminate or reduce your mortgage. Imagine how much money you'll save for your home, your family, for you. Shane Enterprises is a mortgage reduction and debt elimination company. Start imagining the possibilities today by calling Sherry Shane of Shane Enterprises at 719-210-3608. That's 719-210-3608. Imagine there is no mortgage. It's easy if you try.
Listening on a higher dimension. Seventh Wave Network.
You're listening to Cosmic Kick with Adrian Wentworth. Do you need help getting unstuck? Email Adrian your questions at CreasterResources@Comcast.net. That's CreasterResources@Comcast.net. Now back to Cosmic Kick with Adrian Wentworth.
Welcome back. I'm sharing with you some of my own challenges of growing into my personal power and staying in alignment with what my soul was urging me to do and my high self was guiding. And so often we are very, very intimidated by those who we have given our power up to in the past. And this happens, whether, like I said, it's a parent or it's a spiritual teacher or it's a church, wherever you decided that someone else was going to tell you what was right for you. And now, true personal power is knowing an inner knowing what is truth for you, no matter what anyone else is telling you. Now, oftentimes, spiritual teachers will test their students, and I don't even think that they are doing it consciously. For being a spiritual teacher now myself, I have caught times where, something I have said to my students had put them into a particular trauma, and it wasn't my intention. It just came through. So I'm not saying that this is maliciously always done, but when one is a channel for Spirit to work through, oftentimes Spirit will do this to help give the experience to move the other one along. Now, back to my story with Swami Rama. 10 years later, after I left him, now I am way deep into my healing work and also exploring, again, how can we become fully connected to God and have the vehicles to be able to manifest as is our birthright? And I knew that he had experience with this, as well as my other spiritual master, Sant Kashyavadis, had experience with this. So all of a sudden, I'm getting urged to go see both of them, that they have some help for me in the form of some spiritual transmissions to help me with this process. Now remember, I haven't even spoken to Swami Rama in over 10 years. Sant Kashyavadis was much more accessible. I could call him up and he would say, "Oh, Kasturi Mother, please come," which I did. And I went and saw him first. And, now I'm in my power, and I'm like, here's what I want. I was told by Spirit that you will help me learn how to manifest so I can bring forth tools to help others learn how to manifest, so they start to once again understand that they have power. And he kind of looked at me like, oh, boy, and put me through my paces, made me do rituals, made me kiss statues, which was not my favorite thing to do, but finally gave it up, gave me the transmission that I needed. And then I was going to stay with him longer, but I saw clearly that if I didn't get to Delhi right away, I was going to miss opportunity to connect with Swami Rama, who is really up in Rishikesh. But you better get yourself to Delhi. So I left, got to Delhi, called up to the ashram in Rishikesh, and normally you cannot get through there. He has guards at the door, and neither of these two are alive. And I also went to say goodbye to them because I knew that they would be leaving the planet soon. Now, instead of the normal person who answers, who is very strict and who are you and you're not one of us and go away, this very nice man answered and he said, oh, Swamiji is in Delhi and here's the telephone number. And I'm like, what? This is like magic, right? And so right away I'm sending him psychic messages. You know, I haven't talked with you in 10 years. Do you even remember who I am? I've changed my name. You know, but here I go. So I call him up. They put him on the phone. I tell him who I am. I fumble around again a bit because I'm a little intimidated and unsure. And he says, if you come right now, I will see you. So I blast over there, and I think, will he even know who I am? I walk in the door, he looks at me, and he says, I still pray for you. Oh, then I knew it. It was up. In other words, the testing that a soul has to go through is very important. And then I told him exactly what I was there for. This is what I was told you will help me with. This is what I need. He said, come up to Rishikesh, and he put me through my paces. And when I got the transmission I needed, I was out of there. Thank you, and I'm gone. Grateful, of course. Always grateful. But the moral of this story is that when you stay attuned to Spirit, Spirit was pushing me, saying, this is something you need. And look, everything will work out if you stay attuned to your guidance. If you stay attuned, you will be, you know, I could easily see, gosh, if I would have stayed longer in Bangalore, I would have missed that connection in Delhi, and then it would have been difficult. And this is something that is so important because now more than ever, we need to stay tuned in to know what is the next right piece for us and what will work. And again, getting back into that, you know, don't totally undo your whole life unless you know exactly what you know, how you're going to make things work for you, and you're very strong with your guidance, and you've tested that guidance. You've tested it, and it works. I can be strong with the risks and the challenges that I take on because I've tested my guidance and I've tested my personal power, so I know even if things don't work out, I'm not going to be destroyed. I'm going to pick myself up, and I'm going to say, well, what do I still need to learn? What influences were here that I didn't understand that kept this from working? And that's something else to realize, that when you are awakening and when you are shifting, and shifting your vibration means letting go of old as you start to activate new, you are more vulnerable. And that's when it's easy to get played on by dark force energies. Because it's like you're just starting to step into a new level of power, and you're unsure of self, and you're battling all of your old belief systems, and you're battling some of the old emotional traumas from times when you tried to move forward or you tried to accomplish a certain task or mission and it didn't work. And that's when the opposition comes out in full force. And this is why I stress over and over, it's so important to protect your system, protect your energy system, and clear out any old connections and interferences that you have. If you want to truly get in touch with your soul and take on again that first pure mission that you had, you have to have some of these obstacles moved out of the way. And healing is so important, as well as protection. And that's why I came through with the Krista energy attunement that I've been speaking with you about over these past weeks. Now, the first level of that attunement is for awakening, and again, is for protection, permanent protection, and for self-healing. so it's like a foundational piece that works so well for seekers to help them have the necessary strength and protection and tool to keep awakening and healing as they move along. And then there's a second level to that attunement, which is all about activating new codes that perhaps you've been bringing in, and also these original God codes that are within you. Now, in order to even access these codes, you have to be able to move deeply into your spiritual energy body, which means you have to take some actions. Again, you have to be doing some kind of spiritual practices to help you move your awareness to these deeper levels, and again, open up channels in your system so you can bring in the frequencies that will activate you, that will heal all parts of you. So important. We have to make an effort. But it's so worthwhile. And for years and years and years, as I've worked on my own healing process and spiritual development process, I have seen so many beings just come into their own. It's like blossoming, like a flower. First you have to get in touch, and then you have to open. And you have to move out all of the fears and the illusions that are within our world that say you can't be that. You have to be something that is acceptable. You have to. And I'm telling you, after 25 years in the healing arts, no, you don't. You have to have the strong connection. You have to have a clear energy system, the personal power, and the commitment to want to serve. And that means serving more than ourselves. And I'll be back after these messages.
Your online community for positive change. Seventh Wave Network.
Are you feeling stuck? Cresta Resources has the transformational tools to help you overcome all the obstacles that are blocking you from making positive changes in your relationships, career, health, and spiritual growth. Adrian Wentworth, founder of Cresta Resources, brings you the missing keys through the Cresta Healing Method and Cresta Energy Attunements. These spiritual tools will clear and realign your energy system, remove all influences that are holding you powerless, build permanent protection against outside negative forces, activate your gifts and abilities, and get you in touch with your soul's purpose. Cresta Resources, providing support for your personal growth and spiritual journey, helping you stay strong, balanced, and empowered through the challenges of these changing times. For more information on the products and services developed by Adrian Wentworth, visit her website at www.crestaresources.com or call 719-487-8095. The website again is www.crestaresources.com, or you can call 719-487-8095.
Are you ready to face the rapidly changing times and a whole new way of being? Humanity and all Earth are part of this tremendous shift, bringing each and every one of us more in alignment with who we really are. The show that will help you realize this shift is called Visioning the Dream Awake, hosted by Donna Merkich. Listen for this unique program that will help you step into your best possible self and reality. Visioning the Dream Awake airs live on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific Time on the Seventh Wave Network.
Imagine there's no heaven.
Imagine there's no mortgage. It's easy if you try. That's not just a slogan, it's a choice you have right now. In these uncertain economic times, Sherry Shane of Shane Enterprises can empower you to eliminate or reduce your mortgage. Imagine how much money you'll save for your home, your family, for you. Shane Enterprises is a mortgage reduction and debt elimination company. Start imagining the possibilities today by calling Sherry Shane of Shane Enterprises at 719-210-3608. That's 719-210-3608. Imagine there is no mortgage. It's easy if you try.
Be extraordinary. Seventh Wave Network.
You're listening to Cosmic Kick with Adrian Wentworth. Do you need help getting unstuck? Email Adrian your questions at CreasterResources@Comcast.net. That's CreasterResources@Comcast.net. Now back to Cosmic Kick with Adrian Wentworth.
Welcome back. I just gave you a lot of half-truths. And yet, please understand that as long as you are making an effort, you are making progress. And so not only with meditation, but also you can be doing simple things to help create personal power, which means staying focused with every little thing you do. In other words, when you're folding laundry, be folding laundry. You become actually very dynamic when you do this. When you're loading the dishwasher, you're loading that dishwasher better than anyone has ever loaded that dishwasher before. Very, very focused. This is how you start to create a very dynamic ability to focus the mind on what you want to achieve. So it's important to be sitting down and spending some time examining yourself and going, well, what is keeping me from moving out of my unhealthy situations? What is it? Not judging self, not blaming others, just very quietly finding that place within where you can examine yourself in a very peaceful way and also ask for guidance. But not asking for guidance in a way of, you guys tell me everything to do, show me what to do. No, it's like help guide my soul. Help guide my soul and help me find my own inner wisdom. The spiritual path takes great patience, takes determination, perseverance, and, it takes a love of wanting to know more. You have to be a seeker. You want to know more. And not be afraid of what other people think, of your seeking. Doesn't mean you have to get up on your soapbox and announce to the world, here's what I believe, and you all should believe it too. I've seen people who awaken and they go to their places of employment. Now they're trying to convert everybody to their way of thinking, and they keep losing their job. So it's like, no, just be who you are. Now, not only do we have codes that were in our soul at the time of creation, and some of them are about creating balance and harmony. I mean, this is very interesting because this is just what the world needs right now. But then also, throughout our journey and our many incarnations, and as we started to develop other skills and abilities, we also started to take on other purposes, other missions, that as we started to grow, we said, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can help with that. Yeah, I can do that. And one of the biggest stumbling blocks to taking those old purposes to fulfillment is the failures that we had. oftentimes we don't understand that when we were first asked to help, it wasn't known what would get in the way. It wasn't known. And I always say those lifetimes were learning lifetimes. And right now, this time on earth is a time of coming full circle, which means awakening to all of the abilities and gifts we've developed, activating all of the codes that we've taken on throughout the lifetimes, healing past the distortions that were keeping these codes from coming into activating. And this is the time for that. And so often, right within the soul, it is holding such deep traumas, feelings of guilt and shame from not being able to accomplish. And it's time to release this. And that means meditating right on the soul to help bring forward what it is holding, as I say, unlocking the soul. And there are some sacred sounds that will help you with that. Do Om He Crime Yen. Om He Crime Yen. Om, the universal sacred sound that adds power to all other sacred sounds. E, which unblocks. Crime, which helps to release old karmic influences and past life impressions. And Yen, that brings forward the secrets that the soul is holding. Om Ki Crime Yen. You can say these sounds when you're driving your car, when you're out walking, whatever you're doing, but it's especially powerful when you focus them right on the seat of the soul, which is a little to the right of the heart center, about the size of your thumb. Just vibrate those sounds in with sincerity. And a mantra that is so important to learn, but very hard, and I don't expect you to pick it up from me saying it, but the Gayatri Mantra. It's the greatest of all mantras. And Gayatri is the mother of all the great mantras. She's the wisdom of God which brings illumination. She's the abode of supreme bliss. All yogic powers roll at her feet. So the Gayatri Mantra is chanted for the attainment of universal consciousness and for the awakening of intuitive powers. So meditation on the Gayatri, it destroys all delusions and it energizes prana, bestows longevity, health, brilliance, and illumination. And so it's the key to opening the door to cosmic consciousness. And that mantra, I'm going to say it, but know it's on my CD, Water in the Eyes of Time. It's the last track. And you can just punch in Gayatri Mantra, on your computer, and you'll have many different versions of it. But it's Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Om Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Learn this Gayatri Mantra. It will surround you with protection and help open up your head centers and awaken you to divine consciousness. This is Adrienne Wentworth for Cosmic Kick. Thank you for tuning in, and namaste.
Thanks again for listening to Cosmic Kick with your host, Adrienne Wentworth. Make sure you join us live every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time and 10 a.m. Pacific Time here on the Seventh Wave Network.
Om Tat Savitur